All right, we are sitting down right now with Brady Gray, the head of the Texas Family Project, talk about a few of the big priorities that are moving through. Of course, we've got legislative priorities that are ultimately going to be voted on and approved by the delegates on Saturday. And a number of the things that people are talking about have to deal with protecting children, which is a big part of what your organization's been doing, been fighting for in the legislative session this last year, and we'll be fighting for in the next session as well. So I want to talk about a few of those because I think when we look at the last session, there were certainly some wins, right? Ending the gender mutilation procedures in kids. But you've made the point that there's still work to do even then when it comes to some of the social transitioning that needs to be done and needs to be completed by the Texas legislature this next session.
Yeah, absolutely. There's SB 14 was vital, and ending the practice of mutilating kids was incredibly important, and I applaud the legislature for doing that. That is a big part, but long before we get to the sexual mutilation of kids, that actual physical action, we have social transitioning that's happening. And we've got books over in our booth. I will caution everybody before they pick these up and look at them that they are graphic. And you can't unsee what's in these books, but your kids are seeing these things in their books. And last session, of course, we had HB 900, a bill that was intended to stop this. Some folks know, some folks don't, but the enforcement mechanism HB 900 is no longer there. It's not enforceable, and so these books are still in libraries. We're seeing them go back into libraries every single day. Dallas ISDs put them back in. A lot of ISDs have put these books back in, and so that it's vitally important that we pass that. We've got a really good priority right now working on obscenity and getting rid of the affirmative defenses in Texas Penal Code 4324 and 4325. These are the things that allow them to put this stuff in school and claim it as educational.
Yeah, let me go back to that House Bill 900. That's interesting because this was a big victory, right? People were celebrating that we were going to get some of this pornographic material out of school libraries, and you're saying that right now districts are actually putting it back in?
That's correct. Districts are putting it back in. Some districts never removed it. Some of them did, and to their credit they did, but many of especially your larger districts, are putting that stuff back into the libraries because they know that there's no repercussions for not having it.
Now, another issue that your organization has been talking about is school choice. That's been something that the party's not only been fighting for, but Governor Greg Abbott as well. It was a big issue in a lot of the primary races and some of the runoff races that are going on right now. What are your expectations there? What's the next step to getting this done?
Yeah, I think we've got, a great priority on the school choice front. We've got a really good priority that's working, but the money follows the kids, that it allows autonomy and freedom for homeschoolers and private schools, and we think that's super important. When we got something moving that direction, we think it'll be a really good priority for the delegates to vote on. And of course, it was a huge issue. It was a massive issue in this last primary election, and I think that for more than 10 years we've been working on this. And Ronald Reagan supported school choice. Of course, we got so many great people. Rush Limbaugh supported school choice. And so it's time that the party catch up and that we get there and we pass that and we get school choice across the line.
I mean, what's the biggest hang-up right now to school choice? In some states it's interesting because Democrats will actually support it. Democrats obviously don't support that in Texas, but we also have some Republicans that have opposed it as well.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of fear around it. There's a lot of fear around the legislation and what it would do. Ultimately, parents should have the right. And we've seen that, like I say, we just talked about these books. Parents should have the ultimate authority. And I think people are concerned about encroachment and about what that'll look like. I think there's a way and there's a path that we can get that done. We've got legislators that want to do it, that have an appetite for getting that done. And, of course, we've got a priority that I think will fit really well into us coming up with a good solution.
Let me ask about a couple of other issues that passed through the last session, see how those are doing. One of them is preventing minors from accessing pornography online, putting up some safeguards. There's legislation that's been put into effect that requires age verification. What have we seen since that law has gone into effect?
What we have seen is the absolute imperative fact that we have to have a strong attorney general. And so thankful, of course, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, to the Senate for doing away with the sham process that was handed to them and making sure that our Attorney General could go back and start prosecuting the things that he needed to do. He has done that in a very strong way, and that bill has effectively stopped a lot of these porn companies coming in. Now, it doesn't do it all. There's a lot of ways around. And so we've got to continue to fight to that end. And again, that kind of goes back to the obscenity thing. It goes back, it's very hard to define what is pornography. The way our laws are currently written, the way Section 43 of the Penal Code is written, it makes it very difficult to define that. And so we need to, as a party, make it a priority that we fix those affirmative defenses and that we're able to identify and classify what is harmful material so we can put a stop to it.
And what about some of the sexual performances that we've seen that have targeted minors? We saw a lot of this during the last summer. Has that died down now?
No, that is not died down at all. Matter of fact, it's ramping up.
Yeah.
When SB 12 passed, we saw a little bit of a lull because people thought they were going to get in trouble.
Yeah.
Of course, a federal judge decided that that was a violation. It was a violation of the First Amendment rights of grown men in women's underwear to be able to dance in front of children. That's a ruling that a federal judge put out. And so now we've seen, again, SB 12 be completely stripped out of any sort of enforcement and saying that it's unconstitutional. And so we've got to kind of go back to the starting blocks on that and figure out how do we make this work. And again, kind of a theme running through here, a huge part of that is being able to define what is obscene and what is, can't define it as art, can't define it as science, can't define it as health. What is obscene and is it prurient? And this word prurient, if you went back, and some folks would know, you go back to the 70s, everybody knew what the word prurient meant. Today, you mention the word prurient to somebody who's 20, 25 years old, they don't have any idea of what that word really means. And so we've got to be able to define that so that people truly understand what that means and that it's very clear we can put an end to it.
Last question, because we saw this in the city of Austin. They recently passed a resolution saying that they're going to be a sanctuary city, essentially, for child gender mutilation. Come to Austin. We're not going to prosecute it. What is your reaction to that?
Yeah, I think the People's Republic of Austin should be completely shut down. I believe Representative Briscoe Cain has a bill to do away with the city of Austin, put it underneath the control of the legislature. I think that's a great action to move that direction, get rid of it altogether. So yeah, it's an absolutely absurd, and again, kind of echoes the same point. We are very, very blessed in this state to have an attorney general who's willing to take a stand. And I think when that kind of stuff starts happening, we've got a system in place. And we have to continue to elect Republicans. We have to continue to elect strong folks like what we saw on March 5th, like what I believe we're going to see continue next Tuesday. We've got to continue to elect people that are going to prioritize the safety of children, that are going to prioritize family values. Because if we're not able to build our party on faith and on family, then we're never going to survive. We're never going to beat the woke mob.
All right, so y'all have a booth here as well. You've got a presence here at the convention. What are you hoping to get done? How can people help out?
Yeah, come by the booth. Like I say, viewer discretion advised, but take a look at some of these books that we have. Because really, if you haven't seen them, you need to know what's in your kids' libraries. You need to know why a priority on getting rid of this obscenity and the sexualization of kids is so important. So come by. If you haven't seen this stuff, take a look for yourself at what is in kids' libraries, what your kids are being exposed to. Come sign up for our email list, get the action alerts on what we're doing, and then just come by and say hi. We've got a great couch over there. You can play cornhole over at our booth. We don't have any popcorn, so you got to get your popcorn at Texas Scorecard booth.
Yeah, you get the popcorn here.
And then you come over and play cornhole at the Family Project booth. So come by and see us.
That sounds great. Brady Gray, Texas Family Project. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you, Brandon.
All right.